Hello and welcome to The Real Conversation. As always, I am Flora Anne, your house and Diva. Today's topic is one every Nigerian should pay attention to because whether you're buying land now or planning to buy someday, this conversation could save you millions. Land scams in Nigeria are becoming more sophisticated. People buy land and discover it's under government acquisition. Others discover the same land has been sold to multiple buyers. Some even finish building before they realize the documents are fake. And joining me today to discuss land scam in Nigeria is a respected voice in the real estate sector, the CEO of Emmanuel Osilama Global, and also the National Vice President, North Central of Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria, Redan. Please help me welcome Estate Surveyor and Valuer Emmanuel Osilama Osilama. Thank you so much for joining us on The Real Conversation.
Thank you very much for having me this afternoon. It's my pleasure to be here.
All right, so let's begin with this important question. Why do you think land scams are still so common in Nigeria despite increased awareness?
They are common because a lot of people are still unable to understand that there's a procedure. There are steps before acquiring land. You don't just go straight to pay money because you have seen what you like. So basically, the land administration and registration system is very poor. That's one. But you that you are paying, you are supposed to do a proper due diligence before you commit your money. So that's why it's still prevalent. That means both the government have not been able to correct the lapses that are there, the gap. Why the person that is also buying is not being careful enough.
Okay. So that's very interesting.
Yes.
So you're saying many people assume awareness alone should solve the problem.
Exactly.
Would you say greed and desperation also play a role in this?
Of course, definitely. Because if you see a property that sounds very cheap, you will lose your senses, and the only thing you want to do is just to put your money on the ground. So that's where greed comes in.
Okay.
But if you want to be careful, then you go through a proper due diligence. The process for proper due diligence also costs money. That's another thing, another greed, because you have to pay a professional. By the time you are not a professional, you don't understand the detail, you go to do a window search, they tell you everything is okay. There are so many stories behind the scene. Because a land can be okay when you look at it from the window search, but the history of the land will show you that there's a distortion. And you can never see that except you get a search report, which is a document that will be signed by the authority, the officer in charge, showing that this land is clean. You can go ahead with the transaction. You cannot get that document except you are paid. So that's where greed comes in again. Okay,
so that will get me to my next question. What are the biggest mistakes Nigerians make when it comes to buying land?
There are many. There are so many mistakes they make. But let me just take them one by one, the few that can come to my head right now. One is that if you are acquiring a land, you are supposed to ask for the document covering the land. It's not everywhere that it's only in Abuja that you don't have issues of community land where there's no paper. There are still locations in Lagos, another place in Benin, Edo State, and so many other parts of Nigeria where you can acquire a land and there's no document at all. There are situations like that. But in Abuja, nothing like that.
Can I save as such lands where you buy and there are no documents?
Some of them are still safe because if you mentioned government acquisition, so if government has exited that area, that means government have given that portion of the land to the family. There will be document showing that government has exited. That's called government excision. So government has exited this place and has left. It could be 100 hectares. Government have taken 80 and give it 20 to the family. That's what excision means.
All right.
So there's a document showing that government have left this place for the family.
Okay.
In that case.
Okay.
So with that now, the family can now issue you their own agreement of sales, which you will take to government agency. Like if it's Lagos, Alausa, and if it's Abuja, you go to nothing like that in Abuja because that's communal something. If you go to like Benin, you go to Edogis. And other places too, like if it's Port Harcourt, Rivers, you go to Greater Port Harcourt. Okay. But if it's Abuja, there's nothing like a family selling land in Abuja. Anything like that is village land and it doesn't exist. As a matter of fact, there's already a master plan design on top of that place you are buying as village land. So it's temporary, it cannot last.
So village land does not exist in Abuja.
No, it cannot exist.
Let's talk about cheap land. You know, when you talk about village land and all of that, let's talk about cheap land because many Nigerians love discount. We love discount. So is cheap land always a red flag, or are there genuinely good deals sometimes?
It's both ways.
Okay.
Cheap land can be a red flag, and cheap land can be genuine good deals. So it depends on the location and it depends on who is selling. These two things are very important because a cheap land can be cheap because the location is still far inside the bush, so it becomes a land banking. Okay. That means the person got, like if, for instance, let me just give an instance. Mr. A and B bought the same property. A bought it from the market for 200 million, let's say 10 hectares or 200 million. Mr. B went to government, applied for land allocation, and it was given directly. It cost him everything about 20, 30 million. Did you see the difference? Yeah. Then if he's going to pay for CFO, maybe more money. But Mr. A that bought for 200 million cannot sell at the same price as Mr. B. So Mr. B can afford to sell cheap land, while Mr. A selling the same area cannot sell cheap land. That's one. But meanwhile, why it can be red flag is that somebody who wants to make quick money can paint a picture that looks like genuine and present it like genuine. And everybody is falling for it. That becomes a risk. But you that you are buying, you ought to have searched. Once you see a document, you have to ask for the document covering the land. Okay. Then you need to see location. Because there are lands that are very cheap, but because they are inside a ditch or on top of a rock, which will cost you maybe 10 million, 20 million to remove the rock, and you don't have that kind of money, you're in trouble if you buy it cheap. So you need to visit location. Yes. That's why there are 3 factors that are very important in property. 1 is location, 2 location, 3 location.
All locations.
Visit location, then do proper due diligence. Get the document. At times, the document is genuine, it's not fake. Yeah. But the history, the person selling, maybe he stole the document, does he have the right to sell? So if you sell the document they present to you, can be genuine. Doesn't have any problem. But the person selling it doesn't have the right to sell. Yeah, or he stole the document, or he is not even aware that the person who gave it to him stole it and gave it to him to sell.
Oh, so in real estate, we were saying if something sounds too good to be true, buyers should slow down.
Calm down. Take it easy. In fact, get a professional to go through the process. Visit location and do proper due diligence before you commit your money.
Okay, let's look at it. Social media has also changed the game, you know. You see Instagram estates, you see TikTok properties, adverts, flashy inspection videos everywhere. Do you think social media has made property scam easier?
Of course it has, but it's a platform for marketing. So I will not say it made it easier. It's just, it made it easier in the sense that I can also say it made it easier because people who don't want to go through the stress of visiting location and doing the proper due diligence before they commit their money, they easily fall. They fall for social media.
Somebody actually commit his money or her money without
people
to...
People do that.
Oh, okay.
People do that. They do that.
So
they just trust you.
Very risky.
Yes, they just trust you because maybe you have a very good packaging. The paparazzi. Oh, okay. You show flashy cars. That means this person has capacity. Cannot eat my money. Meanwhile, he's eating like 20, 30 people's money. You show flashy lifestyle. What he's saying is that you are either flying a business class or you are,
So that flashy lifestyle does not really mean credibility.
No, it's not flashy lifestyle that should give credibility. Credibility should be as a result of how much you have been around. Consistency and verification. People have verified you. How many estates do you have existing that people are living inside? Yes, if you tell me I've spent 15 years, can you list 2 or 3 estates that you have people living inside after 15 years? All the old estates we used to know, they have disappeared. There's no one. Most of the developers, is something that they should also consider. Because there are so many developers that I have observed. They are my colleagues, so I'm sorry to say this, but by the time you are going back, you see that most of the estates that they were advertising before, they have disappeared. They don't exist anywhere. So now it's still selling. What about those ones? So how many estates do you have after 10 years or 20 years that you can point to that people are living inside? Do you have 1 or 2 or 3? Let's assume it's only 1. Do you have 1? Because there should be verifiable track record.
Yeah.
If you understand,
Sure.
if it's somebody that is new in the industry, then you can understand that it's just coming. But if you have been around for some time, 10 years, 20 years, you should have verifiable track record. You should have people that can tap their chest that my house where I'm living, I bought it from you. or the land that I built my house, I bought it from you. But if everything is still within a circle, and then
so that verifiable track record is
very
key,
it's
very
key.
important.
It's key. It's key.
Okay, so when we return, we're going to take a short break now. When we return, we'll discuss the exact documents buyers must verify before making payment, how to know if land is under government acquisition, and why many Nigerians ignore the dangerous warning signs. We'll be right back. The real conversation continues after this short break.
Do you ever wonder why some people's money grow consistently? And do you also think it's a safe idea to keep your money idle in the bank? In today's economy, smart investors understand one thing: money must be positioned and not stored. At Emmanuel Osilama Global, we provide a structured opportunity to grow your wealth through strategic real estate investments across key cities such as Abuja, Lagos, amongst others. As Warren Buffett once said, if you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. Our investment plans are designed to deliver measurable returns. Get up to 20% ROI in 6 months and a whopping 40% ROI in 12 months. With as little as 5 million naira, you can take a strategic step towards financial growth and asset appreciation. This is not just an investment, it is a system built on value, structure, and long-term growth. Take action today and let your money work for you. So what are you waiting for? Send us a message, call the number on your screen, or visit our office to speak with a representative and take your next step towards a secure investment. Emmanuel Osilama Global, leadership by results.
Just truth is the real conversation with Housing Diva.
Welcome back to The Real Conversation. Here we don't sugarcoat issues. We say them the way they are. Real talk, real issues, and real solutions. Today we are discussing land scams in Nigeria and how buyers can protect themselves. Let's become practical now. Estate Survey and Valuer Osilama. What are the first documents every buyer must verify before making payment?
You know that the land registration and administration in Nigeria is not unified. When I mean it's not unified, it means it's not the same thing everywhere.
Okay.
When you go to Benin, even in Nasarawa, what you see is not what you will see in Lagos.
Yes.
So if you are in Lagos, the first document would have been the allocation letter given by government. But when a property doesn't have that, then it will be the agreement between the owner, the person selling, the estate developer, and the family. Once you have seen that document, is it registered? If it is not registered, why is it not registered? I'm starting from Lagos or Benin. Why is it not registered? So every story they are telling you, then you can now say, can you please register it because I want to pay? I would like you to register. If they tell you, okay, because they don't have money, how much will it take? If they tell you, okay, let me pay so deposit so that you register it, then I will now pay for the land. Because usually the registration fee is not much. That is to formalize your interest in the land.
Yes.
Because the ownership that we claim in land is actually our interest in land.
Okay.
Yes, government own the land. So they only give us interest. Good. But now when you come to somewhere like Abuja, you will ask for CFO or RFO. Because the CFO, the RFO is what they process to become CFO. Okay. Once you pay for the CFO, they now issue you CFO. So if that's the first document.
Yes.
Okay, but the person that is giving you the CFO may not be the original allotee. That's where the history of the ownership comes in. So if the person that is selling to you is not the original allotee, it means the name on the paper is not his name. So where is the power of attorney that transfer every right in that property to him? So if he shows you the power of attorney, good. But the power of attorney can be forged.
Okay.
You understand? And they can sign the original allotee signature. So he should go and register it. If he has not registered it, what is causing the delay? Please, how much do you need to register it? Then if you are so interested in the property, you cannot push him to use his money, then you give him only the money required for the registration. Make sure your lawyer is involved in the process to register his interest. If he has not registered his interest at Aegis in Abuja, don't pay him money. The same thing with the one in Lagos. If they have not registered their interest in Alausa, don't pay money. If you pay money, you are now taking a risk. Is there anything wrong with taking a risk? No. For me, I believe that your richness is proportional to the amount of risk you are ready to take. There's nothing wrong with taking a risk, but your risk should be constructive.
Good.
That means you must be sure. You must have spoken to your lawyer. They have weighed the advantage and disadvantage of losing the property. That's the only time you take the risk. If the disadvantage outweigh the advantage, then they will tell you to hold on.
Okay.
Let him look for money and formalize his ownership.
All right. So while speaking, you mentioned RFO. You also mentioned CFO.
CFO, yes, that's
for
Abuja.
Viewers watching right now, can you simplify?
Break it down.
Yes, break it down. Let's
RFO
really
is
understand.
simply certificate of occupancy.
Okay.
And that's CFO,
CFO,
which
yes.
is the final document. Why RFO is right of occupancy. The difference is that the RFO is the first stage. That when you apply for land allocation, it's either they give you statutory right or they give you an RFO, and the both of them are the same document.
Okay.
Then they will now give you a bill to pay for the CFO. The CFO is what the government use to provide infrastructure in that district. That's the fee, the money you pay to government. It's supposed to be accumulated, that it becomes bulk money from everybody. For instance, if it's Gariki, for instance,
Yes.
then all the money they collected for CFO in Gariki is what they are supposed to use to provide roads, electricity,
All those
electrification, and everything infrastructure. That's what it's supposed to be. But I know that's not exactly what is obtainable. But when you have paid for the CFO, it now gives you complete right over the property. So the only time government can take that property from you is only when they have overriding public interest. But at the stage of RFO, the property is still safe, but not as safe as it is when it's CFO.
All right. So if a land has no proper title or verifications, you're saying buyers should beware. And they should also be careful not to invest their hard-earned money into such property.
I also mentioned that even when the proper documentation is genuine, the person selling, does he have right to sell?
Right to sell. All right. So one issue many Nigerians fear is government acquisition. How can an average Nigerian know if a land is under government acquisition? If land is under government acquisition, is there a way they know?
It depends. If it's a place like Lagos, you can easily know.
Oh, okay.
If it's a place like Edo State or Kano, you may not know. Because it depends. Because land government acquisition simply means that government they already have a master plan.
Yes.
But the master plan is only known to them. So if you go to their planning department, you may have an idea of the master plan. So when you have the master plan, on the table, locations that government they have zoned. It's called zoning. That they have zoned for a particular maybe district, and district like this, or maybe this area is for factory. This one is for housing. This one is for government offices. So something like that, you have to use a professional, maybe a land surveyor, to go to that department and find out. But that's common. It's not supposed to affect somebody just buying land. It's common when you are doing like mass housing. When you are doing mass housing, because when you are now doing mass housing, you are buying land that don't have allocation. That's when you bother about government acquisition. Once there's an allocation, government cannot acquire where they have already given allocation on, except when there's a conflicting allocation, like the issues in Airport Road.
Yes.
It's a special issue. Because the local government allocated the land, and the minister came and took the local government to court to stop them from allocating land. So now nullify all the allocations, not all the allocations that were done. Any allocation that will be done after that court judgment.
Okay.
That was from 2005.
Okay.
That's Era 5. So from his era, any other allocation is not supposed to be done by the local government. So every allocation that was done before that time, that's where there's now problem of acquisition. That's not exactly acquisition. That's just mismanagement of land administration, because it's something that can be handled through a policy statement from the person in charge, who is supposed to be like the minister, for instance. It's just for the minister to call the people in charge and tell them, okay, I want every land on Airport Road that are genuine to be converted to RFO. Aegis RFO. That will not take 24 hours. The only problem they will not have is that they already have double allocation. They already have multiple owners claiming, but they know the ones that are genuine. No, they can easily know the ones that are genuine. No matter the complexity, I mean to say that even if there are insiders that are working with people outside, they can still authenticate the original document if they want to.
So we're saying that without proper search, someone could unknowingly acquire government land. Is that what we're saying?
Where? Because
Let's
remember, I
look
told
at
you it's not
Lagos.
unified.
Let's look at Lagos.
Yes, if you don't do proper search, you can mistakenly acquire a government land.
Okay, let's discuss Nigerians in the diaspora. Most of the times you see somebody doing a video on Facebook, shouting, crying, calling some names of developers. They've scammed me. I paid for this land for the past 10 years, past 5 years. I've not seen any land. I've not seen any this. So are Nigerians abroad more vulnerable to property scams? If yes, why?
I can say yes, but some of these videos are not exactly the story. You know, by the time you go to investigate, like the popular one that happened the other time, the person that was crying was not telling the truth, the whole truth.
Okay.
He only told half truth. That incident, he was just an agent. He was not a buyer. He was a middleman in between the buyer, and so he too was not straightforward.
Okay.
I think the developer got angry with him and decided to deal with him strictly business. So he now decided to go and start crying. If you investigate and find out that story very well, you discover what I'm saying. You are a journalist. You discover that he too was not straightforward. But let's leave that.
Okay.
The Nigerians in diaspora can be more vulnerable because they are not here. Because they are not here, people tend to take advantage of them because of third-party trust. They are not here, so they can only trust either their family members or people they have known. And so when anything they say to them, they just believe. You understand?
Yes.
So they need to have lawyers, professionals they can trust. Because if you have a lawyer that is truly a lawyer or an estate surveyor, they have a practicing license that can be withdrawn.
Yeah.
So you can report them and they will lose their practicing license. An estate surveyor that is truly into practice will lose his license to do valuation. So he won't have seal for if they withdraw it now, he will not be able to seal a document. He won't want to lose it. Even this ESV you called me now, if they withdraw my license, I cannot bear ESV again. You understand? The same thing with a lawyer. If you report him to the Nigerian Bar Association, he will be withdrawn. His license to be a lawyer will be withdrawn. Once they set up a panel, they found him guilty, culpable is gone. You understand? So the people in diaspora should learn to work with professionals and not just trust people because you want to trust them.
So they should learn to work with professionals. That's the
Yes.
advice you're giving them.
Yes.
For them trying to invest safely back home, they should work with professionals.
They should pay the fees. They should not be afraid of what it will cost them. It's better to pay the fees and save your money than to trust people who will end up eating everything, eat the fees and eat the money, and you are lost with nothing.
All right. So with this, would you advise people to buy directly from individuals or from registered developers? We're talking about scam here. Which is better?
When you say individuals, because individuals may not have estate, because some people want to live inside estate.
Yes.
So if you want to buy from individuals, I would prefer you buy from registered estate developers who are members of Red Anne, because Red Anne as a body they don't condone scammers. Once you are able to find out that you're a scammer, because we have a committee that is set up to deal with that. Once you report anybody to Red Anne, the person is taken up. And if it gets very bad, the person is handed over to EFCC.
Okay.
Yes. But all the cases they have had, I'm not a member of the committee, but I've heard like 2 times, most of the cases they have had, the developers end up solving the problems. That means if there's anything that has to do with money, they pay up the money quietly because they don't also want to be embarrassed. So it's better to buy from somebody that has been able to subject himself to a body. But somebody that is standing alone, you don't even have who to report him to.
That's true.
You understand?
That's
so
true.
That's my counsel.
So, but how can buyers verify if a real estate company is genuinely credible? How can they verify that?
The first thing is to check, to verify they are credible. Check if they are members of Red Anne. We start from there.
Yeah.
Then profile their CEO.
Good.
Profile their CEO. It's very important to profile who is behind. Yes, profile. If you can't find their CEO, then be careful. Yes, when you are profiling him, you cannot find details about him, then be careful. Something is wrong. That means he's hiding himself. All
right.
Yes.
All right. So at this point, we're going to take another short break and we'll be right back. The real conversation continues shortly. Stay with us.
Would you like to live in a secured, serene and spacious estate. Sweet Piro Productions presents Rock Garden City Estate Degdana off Dry Court Road, Karu local government. Its facilities includes water, electricity, interlocked access roads, police post and easy access to good hospitals, schools, religious centers, banks and popular recreational and shopping centers like the famous Expression Mart and Market Square. Call Sweet Piro on 0705 3140961. This offer is only available on 30 plots.
Just truth is the real conversation with Housing Diva.
Welcome back to The Real Conversation. My guest is still here with me, Estate Sovian Valia Osilama Osilama, the CEO of Emmanuel Osilama Global. All right, sir, so let's continue this conversation. What role should estate developers and agents play in protecting buyers? What roles should they play?
I think they should try and make their processes seamless. Seamless in the sense that try to be more genuine. That means you should be seen as an agent that is genuine and a developer that is genuine. Make everything clean and easy. Make verification easy for any buyer, any prospective buyer. That means normally there's a global document covering if it's an estate. That's where a developer comes in.
Okay.
So make that global document accessible to anybody that is asking for it. Make it easy.
Okay.
Make the process easy. Make purchase easy. Make everything easy. Don't make it complicated. Yes, I know that it gets to a point where people can enter into your business they want to buy. They don't need to see you, because you have put structures in place. But make the process easy for them. Once it's easy, then it gives a lot of credibility.
Okay.
But when the process is cumbersome and it's looking like you have to go, you are trying. For instance, something happened a few days ago. Let's say about a month ago. I was trying to buy a property around within Abuja here, around Kaura. Everything about the property is genuine, right? It's a C of already paid for. Believe me, I don't know what made me to check directors at CAC. The directors were deleted. New directors introduced into the owners of the company. So my question now, and I tried to search the CFO and the RFO has been deleted from ages. Now I'm trying to find out why was it deleted. Nobody is saying anything. When I used my contact, they said I should write officially. I wrote no reply. No, that's not even the thing. Now the question is simple. Why will all the old directors, the people who actually apply for the land, be deleted from CAC? That means the owners, people who are trying to sell it now, are not the original owner. So I could have bought it and go and start working.
So they decided to do your due diligence.
That's what we are saying. That's beyond just searching, because if you search, he didn't have any problem when you search. You understand? It was when I started digging underground and I discovered that this thing has even been deleted from the system. If you search, you won't see anything like that. So you see, the thing is complicated. The sometimes transaction can be complicated. So for you to protect your client, make sure you do proper due diligence before you acquire a property and start selling.
All right. So would you say the industry itself needs a stricter regulation?
Not stricter. There's no regulation right now. It's self-regulated.
Okay.
And so that was why one of my.
But we have Redan in place.
Redan is not a regulatory body. Redan is self-regulated. That's why we can control our members. But anybody that is practicing real estate that is not a member of Redan, we can't force him to come and subject himself to Redan. You understand? So if we had maybe an agency supervising Redan, like a reckon that the bill that was taken to the National Assembly, that would have made it regulated. Real estate in Nigeria need to be regulated.
Definitely.
Need to be regulated, but it's a law that they have to put. There are laws that need to be put in place for it to be regulated. So until those laws are in place, there's nothing anybody can do.
Wow.
So it's a government thing.
It's a government thing, right?
Government need to come up with executive bill. They have to work with stakeholders. That's like Redan. Carry them along. They sit down on the table and agree, and they agree on what should be done. It's very simple. The bill, the drafted bill is still there. Government can take the bill and delete everything they don't want from the bill, introduce what they want from the bill, and the bill is passed. Government has sent, and the industry is regulated.
So there is a real need that this industry should be regulated.
Yes, until it is regulated, everybody cannot be jumping into the industry and saying they are doing the business. Okay. You must be qualified to do the business, because even though you don't need to be a professional, you should know that you have to engage professionals before you can practice. But that's not what's happening.
Everybody is doing it.
Both Tom, Dick, and Harry, everybody is doing it anyhow,
right?
So it should be controlled.
It should be controlled.
Yes. For orderliness.
All right. So now let's talk about fake developers and fraudulent companies. How can buyers protect themselves from fake developers and fraudulent companies?
That's a little bit difficult. The only thing I can say is that it's not everything that glitters that are gold. So when you see things that are enticing and they are interesting and you want to pay your money, just make sure you go through the process. Do your proper due diligence. The first step is that you can check by yourself. You go to visit, you like it. Okay, you check the document, you are satisfied. Then get a professional to help you check the document and be sure. There are times they are showing you a property, that's not the location. The paper you are checking is genuine, but the location they are showing you is not the land.
It's not the land.
So things like that.
So they must get a professional
to go through. They know
and
what to do.
Save themselves all the stress. All right. So have you personally encountered victims whose stories deeply touched you when it comes to scams and fraudulent practices in real estate?
Severally. Have I not been a victim? I have been a victim. So I've also.
But many victims, they suffer silently. Because they feel embarrassed to come out to talk about these things.
Yes.
Now, but if somebody discovers, okay, I've already been scammed after payment, what immediate steps should the person take?
The first thing to do is to gather all your evidence. Where is the receipt you use in paying the money? Did they issue you receipt or the evidence you used to transfer the money? Okay. Gather all your necessary evidence, the application form, everything you use. And either you walk into a police station or you get a professional to sit down with you and counsel you. Because they have to look at the case by case, because each of these cases are unique.
Yes.
You may find out that the land is actually genuine, but the person that sold to you doesn't have right to sell. You may find out that the land is fake, the person just scammed you completely. So it will determine what you will do next.
Okay.
Because when you go to court, because if you go to police, from police you end up in court. It can take so many months or years for you to recover your money. But if the story is a story that is a financial crime, you head to EFCC with your petition.
Because recently I saw online, I saw a group of persons that went to a particular radio station to complain that they've been scammed. And they bought land, and the land was never delivered. The land was never there even in the first place. Everything they showed them concerning that land were all fake. So this time around, if you discovered you've been scammed, then gather all the evidences, just as you said.
Walk into a police station.
And also, you mentioned EFCC.
The EFCC, they are not a recovery agent. So you must prove that the offense is a financial crime.
Okay.
That means they obtained by false pretense. That's what gives EFCC now power to take over the case.
Okay.
If it's not obtaining by false pretense, and so it is police.
Okay, so we're going to be rounding up very soon. I'm just going to ask you these questions, and I only need one sentence, so I don't take so much of your time. Let's look at it. One sentence: cheap land or no cheap land? What would you say?
Get a land that is genuine. The price notwithstanding.
Okay.
If you cannot afford it, then go away from the city and get something that is genuine.
All right.
Then wait. Buy a genuine land and wait, rather than buying a land that is not genuine and you don't want to wait.
All right. So biggest mistakes buyers make when it comes to land?
It's paying quickly, paying urgently, being in haste. The process requires you to be patient.
What if the person is
wants to
doing it out of trust?
Wants to travel to America this night. So I need to just pay for this and sign the document. So you sign the document before you leave. That's a risk.
Very big risk.
Be patient. Get a professional. I have a lawyer that came from Lagos now. Somebody sent him to come and collect some document from me. That's trust. The person that sent him is in Lagos. The person can come by himself. But he sent his lawyer because he wants proper due diligence. Doesn't want to hear stories. So he's busy doing his thing. He sent his lawyer. Then wrote me a letter giving me authority to deal with the lawyer and give the lawyer all his documents. And the lawyer should sign on his behalf. You understand? So you need to hire a professional and trust them. because they will lose something if they defraud you. It's not like professionals don't defraud. You also need to protect yourself when you are dealing with them, because some professionals can also defraud you. Some don't even care about the license I mentioned.
Once huge money is involved.
Once money is involved, so you just be smart now. As you are hiring a professional,
Yes.
don't lose your guard.
Yes.
Simple. Don't lose your guard.
Yes. So most important document when buying land.
It's the land, the document covering the land, which is either the C or the R of O.
All right, and let's look at the most dangerous red flag.
The most dangerous red flag is when you see that they are insisting that you should pay now. If you don't pay now, you will lose the deed.
They'll tell you one buyer is already waiting and
Exactly.
he has his money waiting.
Exactly.
So if you don't bring yours
if
now,
you don't
the
pay
person
now, they will change the price. If they don't change the price, you will lose it. It won't be available. Then please don't pay.
Good.
Don't pay.
So you should not
don't
take
pay. Don't
such
fall
risk.
for it.
Don't fall for it,
Don't
right?
fall for that.
Okay, can real estate still create wealth in Nigeria? That will be my last question.
Real estate is not just creating wealth; it's creating jobs every day, and it can still create more wealth. The money that is locked up in land registration alone and administration alone is over $10 trillion. So real estate can rejig the Nigerian economy. You are the one that asked me this question.
Yes.
It can rejig the economy. That means the state where we are now, if government can settle down and decide that, okay, let us sit down and make sure that every single land in Nigeria is registered, they will make nothing less than $1 trillion.
So real estate can actually do that for us and also increase our GDP.
That's what I meant.
Yes.
And I'm not, you can take it to the bank, quote me anywhere.
All right.
Because they don't know, that's the reason why they cannot take it serious. If they know, they will take it serious and they will see the kind of money they are playing with. There's serious money in real estate in Nigeria. It has a lot to do with our population. It has a lot to do with our large, vast of land. So if for instance, only Kano alone registering every single land, if you go, do you know the advantage? What it means is that even my father's house that is in the village that doesn't have a document, can now have a document. I can take it to the bank. I use it as a collateral to get money to do anything. So there'll be more money in the economy.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what I mean. Create more jobs.
All right.
Then we are paying government to register it.
Sure. All right, so tonight's conversation has shown us that land is not just an investment, it is a responsibility. Never rush because of excitement, never trust blindly because of packaging, and never commit your hard-earned money without proper verification. Thank you so very much, Esther Emmanuel Osilama, for this enlightening conversation, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank
we
you
do
very
hope that
much.
when we call you again, you answer us
Definitely.
and come enlighten Nigerians, because we need such talks for
Thank you
people
very
not
much
to
for
fall
having me.
victims when it comes to fraudulent practices or land scam in Nigeria, especially for those in the diaspora. I know when they watch this program, they'll learn one or two things from everything you've said, and they'll be very careful when it comes to buying land in the country. And to our viewers, thank you so very much for watching the Real Conversation. Don't forget to subscribe to Flora Anne TV on YouTube. Share this conversation and leave your thoughts in the comments section. I'm Flora Anne, and I'll say bye for now.
Do you ever wonder why some people's money grow consistently? And do you also think it's a safe idea to keep your money idle in the bank? In today's economy, smart investors understand one thing: money must be positioned and not stored. At Emmanuel Osilama Global, we provide a structured opportunity to grow your wealth through strategic real estate investments across key cities such as Abuja, Lagos, amongst others. As Warren Buffett once said, if you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. Our investment plans are designed to deliver measurable returns. Get up to 20% ROI in 6 months and a whopping 40% ROI in 12 months. With as little as 5 million naira, you can take a strategic step towards financial growth and asset appreciation. This is not just an investment, it is a system built on value, structure, and long-term growth. Take action today and let your money work for you. So what are you waiting for? Send us a message, call the number on your screen, or visit our office to speak with a representative and take your next step towards a secure investment. Noel Osilama Global, leadership by results.
From Nigeria to the world, is the real conversation with housing Diva. Real issues, real insights, real solutions. From the housing space to everyday life conversations. No filter, just truth. Is the real conversation with housing Diva.